everybody out there in the world, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and beyond. Welcome to another episode of ClapBack Queens, and Happy New Year! Happy 2021! We made it out! So excited today because, ClapBack Queens is a show where I'm just talking to folks and collecting stories. I think stories are really important, and moving into 2021, I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep on taking these stories, collecting these stories because, what else am I going to do? I'm really excited because today we have a magical brother I've known for a long time. And, I've always wanted to be able to pick his brain like this. So I'm super excited. Y'all know and love him. Or if you don't, you're still going to love him. Mr. Radar Ellis is in the building. Hey!
Hey, what's up? What's up, Joey? How you doing?
Happy 2021. How are you today?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
I'm good. Aside from a little head cold that's trying to move into my sinuses right now, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Staying hydrated with the water. I keep my 40-gallon of water.
Oh, absolutely.
It's all day.
People you got the 40-gallon.
Dehydrated in the winter, so easy.
Yes.
Man, that's a nice water glass. I like your plant life going on too.
this is all the misses right here. She just got the eucalyptus going and everything, and
nice.
All the stuff that comes with marriage. Because I wouldn't even think about that if I was single.
Really?
Yeah, no, totally. I'd potpourri in the bathroom and actually putting decorations up. I'm totally the bare necessities kind of guy. So.
But you're always so well put together. So I would imagine that that was
yeah, no, it's just me doing my best out there. But yeah, a lot of it has to do with her. My clothing choices, I just show them to her and be like, "Is this cool?" And she's like, "Yeah, all right, cool."
Nice. That's teamwork right there. I love it. So I know you as a DJ and a producer. I know you're an educator. You have a whole list of things you do. For our audience that's not really familiar with who you are and why I'm so excited to talk to you, can you just tell people what do you do? Who are you, Radar?
Sure. DJ, producer, MC, professor at Berkeley College of Music, co-founder of Revive Music Group. As it's a company that has for the last decade been in the New York scene, promoting jazz to a bigger audience. So we put on a lot of different shows throughout the last 10 years. People like Roy Ayers and Pete Rock, putting them together, or Quali and Nicholas Payton, or our Revived Big Band, where we have a whole big band, swing from the 40s, but updated with new material. So imagine a big band playing Planet Rock or our own compositions.
Super dope. That sounds super dope.
Yeah, wow. It's a lot of fun. But that's probably one of our most continuous ideas that we do with the big band, and that's led by my bro Igmar Thomas, who's the MD for Miss Lauryn Hill, and he writes the charts and he leads the band, and I come in and I do my rap thing and I DJ, and it's always a great time.
Nice. So where are you from, by the way? Are you from
a few different places? I was born in White Plains, New York, and then I was raised for the first part of my childhood in New Jersey, and then the second part of my childhood in Connecticut. So I'm a tri-state kid. And then but my parents are from the South, so in Cleveland. So Cleveland, Ohio is my dad. My mother is Charlotte, North Carolina. So you see the Aggies in the back. I spent 2 years at North Carolina A&T. Shout out Aggie Pride. And then I finished off my education at Berkeley College of Music in Boston. So that was the connection there. And I transferred. After those 2 years at A&T, I didn't finish. I just kind of transferred and picked up.
Did you study music at A&T too, or did you study music, or is that just I'm trying to figure out. I want to know how did you get it so engrossed in music? Music is always seemed your whole life, everything. Yeah. I believe even your wife is in music as well, but she's a lawyer.
Yeah. She's an entertainment lawyer, and we met at Berkeley. She was a Berkeley student. She was a musician. She still is sometimes when I can convince her, to sing on something. But yeah, she left to get a degree in business, and then she went to law school and became a lawyer. And my beginnings in music come from my upbringing. I got into comic book collecting and drawing and painting, and then that led into music. And so my neighborhood was a mix of a bunch of things. My parents my mother is like a 60s Motown
Mm,
fanatic. You know, she loves that old school R&B. My dad is a funk and jazz guy. And my neighborhood, which was a mostly white neighborhood for all my life in my childhood, at that time, you know, it was the early 90s, so they were all into grunge rock. So it was
yeah.
Nirvana, it was Pearl Jam, it was metal, it was Soundgarden, Smashing
Hmm.
Pumpkins, all that stuff. And so hip hop was like the last thing that I got into. But, you know, getting curious about those records in my dad's collection and why the songs on these video music box videos, you
Oh
know,
my
sound so
gosh.
much like my dad's records. I'm like, huh. And later I'd find out that they were samples, but you know, it was a big turning point. But yeah, ever since I was 13, like music has been it. And so yeah, I studied it. I was in a madrigal choir in high school, and you know, I was taking piano lessons. And even when I went to A&T, like I was studying it, I wasn't taking classes, but you know, I snuck my MPC in my dorm room and had my little keyboard, and I was making records for different cats around campus. And yeah, you know, I formed a crew out of it, people that I'm still close to this day, and they're my family. You know, shout out my bro Rudy Davino and Ansem. And you know, that it just became like my everyday thing. And I got a call from one of my friends from high school, maybe my freshman, sophomore year at A&T. He was like, dude, I'm in a room full of Korg Triton keyboards and I'm getting college credit for it. I'm like, where is this place? It's like Berkeley. Like, I gotta go. Because you know, at that time it was like the early 2000s. If you were like the cat if you had an MPC or a Korg Triton, you know, because Manny Fresh and Swizz Beats, they were getting down on Korg Tritons and Pharrell. They were all Korg Triton folks, and Primo and Alchemist and all those cats. Well, Alchemist was an ASR guy, but like Primo and like Dilla, they were all MPC heads. So it's like, all right, you gotta have one or the other or both if you can. So when I found out you could get college credit for using those things, I was like, whatever I gotta do, sign
I'm
me up.
there. That's like, I feel like it was the best decision you ever made for yourself. Like you like, you know, sometimes it's a risk to like just say I'm gonna go this whole other direction and like I don't know, see what happens. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was very nervous. You know, it happened at a really, really like, I don't know, transitional time. You know, I didn't have the understanding of what it meant to be in the business. You know, my understanding was, all right, either you're a big superstar or you're busking.
Yeah.
And I didn't know any of the in-betweens. I didn't know any of the other jobs, none of that stuff. And I was actually scared to fill out my application. My homie Tia, she sat me down in her room and she was like, fill out this application, you're getting out of here. And it was at a really crazy time because my father had a brain aneurysm.
Mm.
And so he's still with us, you know, but it was like really touch and go. And I just left. I didn't even know if I got into Berkeley, but I left A&T. So I dropped out and I was working like
Wow.
a part-time job at Sam Goody, not making any money because the money they give me, I'd buy music. So
Oh man,
yeah,
I miss Sam Goody and the
me
Virgin Megabits.
too.
That's crazy to me. Like, is that with the way that music has like kind of shifted from like I feel it's gone from this physical place like now it's like all digital based, but
Yeah.
some people are bringing that back. You think like what do you think about that shift happening? Like that whole fate, you know, are there any record stores that you still frequent that you can still like frequent?
I mean, there were some I went to before this whole pandemic jumped off. I had like my regular rotation. You know, I went to Academy Records. That was like my main go-to. The Manhattan and the Brooklyn location. Turntable Lab. You know, that's where I'd go to get a lot of my supplies, but I also buy records from there. You know, if I wanted to get like a quick secondhand dig and like really just like, you know, I guess would tough it out, I'd go to the Thing because they had like this massive collection of records and none of it was organized. So you're just in there with gloves and a mask and you got your little portable record player pulling out God knows what. Yeah, it's definitely like, you know, on some jungle excursion type shit. It's like a safari in there. So yeah, but it's one of my most favorite places to dig because every record is like $2. You know, you just show up and it's just like, here's a stack, and you know, they ring you up and it's just like cool. And you could find some gems, you could find some duds, but you know, it's the digging process is a lot of fun. I don't know if all of those places are still there or not, but oh yeah, Good Records, that was a place I dig. But yeah, I mean, you know, the physical medium of things has always been like something that artists could rely on because even when the MP3s were popping, you know, because now we're streaming, like
Yeah.
Cats even downloading like that anymore. But even when the MP3s were going, like if you did a show, you had to have CDs, or you had to have something that you could sign, something. People want physical, tangible things, even if it's just a t-shirt. And so, vinyl and tapes, they just function as they're functional art, and so they serve a duality. And maybe that was a dip between that CD era and the MP3 era, because people were so used to that being the only means, but it never fell off all the way to the point where someone felt like, we shouldn't do this. We shouldn't press up records. There's still new cats dropping records, but you got to see the kind of cats that are dropping records. Like, it's usually artists that are researchers of the legacy of their genre of music. You don't really find a lot of fly-by-night cats thinking, oh, I got to press this up on vinyl. I got to press this up on cassette. It's usually those cats who have spent time in their career.
Real big right now. Like a lot of artists, friend of mine, Juice Ellis, what's his name? Rabbi's out. He made some, vinyls, which I thought was fly, and cassettes coming back too. I just wish I had a Walkman. Like, I don't even know if we could still buy Walkmans. That would be so dope, because I see like cats are making tapes again, and I love like, I'm such a fan of the mixtape. You know what I mean? I remember making mixtapes in my house and like thinking, this is the best thing ever. But we can't really do that no more. Plus, I'm also not a fan of streaming, just for the way that like artists are really getting screwed on these streaming deals.
Yeah.
Where like, my parents are both musicians, so they've been getting royalties forever. And I remember being a kid, and a song that would play on a radio stage, on just one TV show might get you like 10 grand for those 30 seconds. And now that same play on TV is not the same, because all TV is digital. So now you get like, I don't know, like $500 something. It's not even a what's the word? Comparable. Yeah, it's not comparable. It's like, where is that it's not equitable for artists.
Yeah.
I think. So yeah, I'm not a fan of streaming at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I feel you. It's rough. You got cats out there getting millions and millions of streams, but it's not equating to nearly the amount. There's people getting millions of streams and can't pay their rent.
Yeah.
Because they got that million, but that only covered 1 month. Wow. So now what are you going to do for the other 11 months? You got to figure out something. Now, if you can't tour, like
millions of streams, because I've seen cats with like their checks like $2. I'm like, wait, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
No sense. And it's like, it's not even, it's also like, to me, something that puts more stress on the artist, because now you're like, well, how do I cover the cost of making this thing now that is also not going to yield me, you know what I mean, the return that's going to allow me to keep doing this thing I love, that other people, it's insane.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Absolutely.
I don't know, man.
It's a lot, and we're finding a lot of artists trying to figure out ways to, like, especially in this pandemic, trying to like find other ways to stay in people's attention, and hope that it trickles down. That's really what we're dealing with. We're dealing with like the trickle down economics of like, all right, listen to my record, and hopefully a percentage of you that listen to my record will actually go to my site, and maybe you'll browse it. And then maybe a percentage of the people that actually go to the site will buy something. And then that becomes the money that I make. But, you got to break through a few different layers. They got to find you. Then they got to listen to you. Then they got to decide to like go and follow you, and then check your website. Then they got to buy something. It's like all these different layers to finally get a sale. It's a lot. And and you already paid a bunch, just like you said, you got to pay all this up front. You got to pay for the mixing, the mastering, the artwork, whatever, the music video and all that. And then it's like, all right, well, after I spent this $5,000 or $10,000, however much, I hope that this turns into something. It's like,
Right. Do you, I love how the DJ is surviving though. Like, how do you feel about the state of DJhood? Like, especially now after this pandemic, like I feel like DJs are saving the world somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, somehow.
I like that term, DJhood. That's pretty dope. I mean, we're doing as much as we can. I've DJ'd a bunch online during this pandemic just to keep my sanity, if nothing else. Keep the skill sharp. It's nothing like playing in the club. It's nothing like dropping a record in the club in a room full of people are like, oh, oh, that's nothing can replace that. But at least you can play records for people while they're going through their bullshit too. And so we're all just kind of in the middle of it. It's just like, all right, well, here's this jam and stuff. And some DJs have found ways to really just kind of make it their own. I looked at people like DJ Scratch, who has his own app, and he's DJing, and he's got like these different effects and green screen effects and all that kind of stuff. He's got different camera angles that are switching. Like some DJs really make a show out of it. Like Four Color Zach, he's another cat who's really, really dope at it. Jazzy Jeff, of course, he has his magnificent lunch break that he does. So there's a bunch of DJs who have built up a base, and they're continuing that service. For a lot of DJs who are just trying to break in, sometimes it can be frustrating because you set up your stream and only like one person's watching, two people are watching, but it's about the marathon. It's not a sprint. So you just got to keep on with it. And that's why I tell my students, it's like, all right, you may start DJing and you may see like nobody show up in the beginning, but you just got to keep on pushing and keep on going at it, and then try to build something.
What do you teach at Berkeley now?
Turntable technique. So I teach students how to DJ. And that started out, well, the way that it normally goes in real life is the first half of the semester is all vinyl. Then the second half, we get into Serato and CDJs and that whole digital side of DJing. But because we're in this pandemic, the whole semester is Serato. And I brought in some other things as well. So I show them how like to use it in conjunction with Ableton. We're talking making edits. We're talking how to set up a stream in OBS. So, I've had to convert my lesson plan, just pivot a little bit to make it work. But it's been really seamlessly transferable, and that's what my students told me, because, I have my screen where I'm talking to you and I'm in Zoom. So I'm sharing my Serato screen so they can see the waveforms, they can see the records that I'm playing. But then I also have my phone and it's over my turntable so they can see my hands at the same time too. Right. And the combination of those two perspectives gives them the whole view of the process.
Nice. I wouldn't like, because I was really like wondering, like, how do you teach DJ online? Like, I wanna figure that out. But yeah, that would make total. That's dope.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, the hardest part was like talking to Berkeley and trying to figure out a way to like make it affordable, because they're like, they allowed a certain amount of money to the students to get gear that they needed. And, we were talking about some different items, some different controllers that students could use. And, they came back at us, there's two DJ teachers. There's Jason Dawson and myself. Shout out DJ JD. That's what he goes by. And sometimes there's a third one. Shout out Kareem Clark, K-Tunes. Sometimes he'll get on and he'll teach, but he wasn't teaching this semester, I don't think. But I was talking with JD, and we were talking with Berkeley and trying to figure out like, well, what's the price point? We send them a number and they send us back another number, and we're like, all right, that's far off from what we plan to do. So we had to figure out a way, and we did. And then some students decided, all right, I really want to get into this even more than the base controller that you're suggesting that we get. I want to drop a little bit more cash down and really invest in a controller. And a good number, a majority of them decided, nah, I'm going to put down the extra money and go all in and really learn this. So that was really great to see that, no matter what level, everyone could get something and participate. Yeah.
What is the, like, for you, because it's like you seem to have a lot going on, but you also seem like real balanced and organized. Like, how do you achieve this level of like organization, being able to juggle the three things? Or is it more like seamless because they all kind of, works together?
No, everything's a raging dumpster fire, and I drink a lot. You're laughing. I'm dead serious. I am dead serious. Look, I roll out of bed, either the missus or me feeds the kid, gets him dressed for school, where he sits down in front of his iPad and he does a remote. And
how's that going in the pandemic? You got a young one. Like, I'm lucky. My teenagers now, they're pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Like food in the fridge, I'm Gucci.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah, it's a lot. Like, there's times where I'm teaching my class and this kid is just screaming in the background for God knows what. And my students are hearing that. I'm like, sorry, y'all. Like, all right, so scratching. Like, But we gotta maintain the household. We gotta steer the ship. So the missus and I, we're a good team. And she's working too. She's working remote, doing law stuff remote. And we just kind of pass off the kid and just go back and forth. All right. Right now I'm in this interview. She's in the room with him and doing, whatever to keep him occupied. And when it's time for her to work and I'm off, during this winter break, then I'm going to take him and we're going to go in the room. And, we're fortunate enough to have like a separate room where we can just like isolate and just keep the kid at bay. And then the other things are just scheduled. I teach my classes at a certain time, make sure that my lesson plan is ready for that week. I've been teaching at Berkeley for 11, 12 years now. So at this point, I know how to structure my lesson plan, how to organize, how to change things around, how to, get to the heart of the questions that my students need answers to. And, between all that, cook dinner, wash the laundry and just do like the regular life stuff and keep the place clean. I do a hard reset of the living room every night because my kid is wild and, toys are everywhere, things string about.
Things that toddlers do.
Yeah, things that a toddler does. Yeah. You got to spend an hour, cleaning things up. Yeah.
Is that, how's that for you? I don't get to talk to many Black men that are also fathers. So I want to know, like, for you, especially what's going on in the world, like, I mean, outside we can't change, but like, how has that influenced your music or just like the way that you maneuver in the world? I mean, lots of things obviously change when you have kids, but
yeah,
I'm always interested in like men's perspectives of like how that impacts your view and like how you create, if that, causes any shifts for you.
Yeah, definitely big shifts. I mean, these past couple years have been like humongous changes in the way that I approach composition and DJing because, there's this whole other life that you got to be involved in and participate in and help and nurture. So for my art, it's meant, really compartmentalizing and using the time as wisely as possible. Whereas when I was a newlywed or even when I was single, I could have an idea and I could just let that thing loop just like all day and just come back to it and add bits and pieces whenever I want. Now it's like, all right, I got this idea. Let me think. Do I really want to make this thing? Okay. And I start piecing it in my head. Like, all right, this is the thing that I need. This is the kind of sound I need to go for. Sometimes I may write it down. This is the melody. Maybe hear a few of the chords. Maybe this is the sample that I'm going to chop. Like the last week, I just spent time just listening to records, finding the parts of the samples that I'm going to chop, because I know going down the line that when it's time for me to make a beat, I'm not going to have time to just sit there and just listen to the whole record. I need to just get right to the point of wherever that drum break is, wherever that loop is, and just isolate it and then add my parts and then keep it moving. So, in terms of organization, being a father has definitely pushed that into the fast lane and just kind of like getting it all organized so that I can just knock it out and then be able to tend to my kid and do the things that I need to do.
That's what's up. Do you want to have more babies?
I mean,
I don't mean to put you on the spotlight. I just always wonder, like, how we
yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it and we'll see. Yeah.
Right. Like I always recommend that everybody have two, just so that they have somebody to play with, because it really does make a difference later on. Like, I've been watching way too much TV, right? So way too much TV. And something I noticed is that like a lot of the most tragic stories, or like there's this show called The Duchess right now where like it's weird, in like this little girl and her mom are like best friends, where her mom like takes her to the bar with her in the middle of the night. And I was like,
wow,
no, don't do that. Like, don't.
Nah.
But like, it's just the idea that like, I didn't grow up with that idea of like, my mom should be my best friend. Like, nah, you shouldn't. You're my mom. You should not. You and I should not be hanging out. We should not be friends. When we got older, like now we're friends. But like, when you're a teenager, I don't want my kids. Nah, I'm good. I don't want.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I mean, we've talked about it, and if it goes down, we're prepared. So that's the thing. So it's not something that like if it happens that I'd be upset about.
Yeah.
It's just a question of just how. I'm not against it. It's just like, all right, now how do we structure this dynamic? Because 2-on-1 is
Oh
a
yeah.
fair fight,
It will
but 2-on-2,
will
you're
tag.
outnumbered.
Like this, just like you will lose every
Yeah,
time too. Like
yeah,
every
yeah.
single time. It was the worst. Like when I had my daughter, my son started to regress. Because he would notice, like he's a year and a half, 2 years older than his sister. So he would notice like she's getting all this attention. So then we were just in the middle of potty training, and he like decided he wasn't gonna potty train anymore. He would like pee on himself constantly. I'm just like, no,
Wow.
somebody's got to be using the toilet. Like we are not going back to this life of like 1,000 diapers everywhere. So that's cool.
Wait, how did you solve it? Like, what was the breakthrough?
We just basically like would feed him on the potty, and like we got one of those potties that you didn't have to put in the in the bathroom. And then like I forced his father to show him how to pee standing up. I was like, if he knows he can do that, I think he's gonna want to do it. And it did work. He's like really excited. Oh, I get to make bubbles. That's how we did it. That's how we got him to do it standing up. It's like, look, you just make the bubbles. You make bubbles with your wands, whatever. I don't even know the words that were used, but I remember there being bubbles. Like, yeah, I made, and we would hear him yell, I made bubbles. He got so excited about it, because that was also the thing. Like, I find when you make it a challenge for them, that something that's an easy challenge, but they can get excited about it. Anything, he didn't want to do math. We brought toy cars, and now he's good with math. Like it's. Solutions all the time.
Yeah. That's dope.
Do you want him to DJ? Will you teach him, include him in that process as he gets older?
Yeah, that's another thing about working is I have to like allot good like 20 minutes or 25 minutes just to let him mess around before I can actually get work done, because he sees the lights come on, he hears the sounds, and he's like, oh, cool, it's time. All right, cool. And he just jumps at my gear, and he's like spinning the turntables, and he likes the lights on the mixer and all that stuff. So right. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like later in life, but right now I do not have to convince him to mess around with my gear. He's totally all in.
No, that's what's up. Like let him play as much as he wants.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you play any instruments?
Play a little keys, a little bass, a little guitar. But my main thing is digging for records and DJing. Like that's my love. That's my passion. Yeah.
What would you say is like? Matter of fact, I got a good. What was the first album or like record that you ever bought?
On vinyl?
On vinyl or cassette?
Grant Green Breakbeats was the first one I brought on vinyl, and I bought that from the Virgin Megastore in Times Square. It was on a school field trip, and we were in New York City, and we went to the Virgin Megastore, and it's like, Grant Green Breakbeats. I heard breakbeats are like where those drums come from. Let me buy it. And there was like no breakbeats on it, but there was a really dope record, the Sookie Sookie record that I still listen to this day. So shout out Grant Green. And plus I was a jazz fan, so I recognized the name. I was like, oh, cool. I'll get this Grant Green record. I may have been like 15.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. When did you start rapping?
Huh?
When did you start rapping? 13.
December 15th, 1995.
How do you remember the day?
I don't know. It's just like stuck in my head. I remember the record I was listening to. I was listening to AZ, Do or Die. And I just decided like that night, December 15th, 7 p.m., 1995, that I was going to start writing my raps. And I wrote them, you know how they had like the 5-star notebooks and they had the little manila divider. I was like, I'm going to write my rhyme on the manila divider because I need the actual, sheets of paper for my homework. So, I want to rap, but I'm not going to like lose my grade. I'm not going to fail something. This is cool.
Write another book, like the little notebooks,
that makes all the sense. But, to 12, 13-year-old me, it was just like, all right, this is the only notebook I have. It's wild. But yeah, I wrote my first rhyme that night.
Nice. Do you still remember your first rhyme?
No. No, I don't even remember. I know I had a Grand Poobah reference in there. So that just tells you like what year it was. Shout Shout out Grand Puba though, he's forever. But like, yeah, 95 was like a big year for him and for me because I heard his record and I was like, wow, this cat's incredible. The 2000 record. The first record I got on cassette though, it was like BMG. So you know how like Columbia House and like BMG, they had like those
those 10 for $1 or
yeah. So I got like 6 cassettes. I got like Jimi Hendrix blues, his acoustic blues record. I got a Nirvana record. Huh?
I had no idea that existed. Now
It's something that came out in like 94 and like they had found a bunch of recordings of him just recording the tape and it's just him and his guitar singing some blues records. And it's really dope. I wish I had the tape on me. I wish I had a cassette player to play it. But yeah, I got like 6 rock CD. I got like Smashing Pumpkins. I got a few other. I got Soundgarden, Super Unknown, Stone Temple Pilots. The first CDs that I bought were Diggable Planets, Reaching a New Refutation of Time and Space. That was the one with Cool Like That on it. Arrested Development, Zingalamaduni. That was their sophomore album. I think that's how you say it. And Green Day, Dookie.
Dookie was a classic album. I feel like everybody had to have Dookie.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was great. And I remember like my mom was like, "What the hell is Dookie?" And I was like, "It's the best album ever, Mom."
Yeah, no, it was incredible.
I need that.
I might break that out this week. I haven't listened to it in a long time.
Word. What do you feel about like what do you dig on now? Like in modern music era times, or like are you a classics cat?
No, I love new music. Let me see. Amine, I love his Limbo album. That joint's really dope. Everything with like Shimmy and Reel It In. He's got a lot of really great songs on that record. Rod Wave, got a really soulful voice, really dope singer. I made a playlist the other day of just records that came out in the last few years that I was just rocking to. What I put on there. Oh yeah, because Pharrell was talking about it on Drink Champs. So he's like peeping out the blinds, Gucci Mane. Boki Barbs Rock Out. Found out about them on Twitter. This group from Florida. They were a trio, but now they're a duo now. And they got this song called Rock Out. That's my wife's like favorite record this past year. So like, Boki Barbs, Bokee Barbs, Barbs. Lil Uzi Vert For Real. I've been rocking that for a few years though. Lean For Real, Playboy Cardi. That's like my favorite one off of Die Lit. Kim the Man, Every Four. I'm a Kim the Man fan. He Be Like is like one of my favorite joints, but like this new one she dropped, Every Four, is really dope. Earth Gang. Like I love what Earth Gang is doing, and they got like their crew. That's kind of like a Dungeon Family thing. I forgot the name of the crew's name though. But yeah, a lot of stuff. Like Kelly 47. Yeah. Oh, I've been trolling my wife with DJ Cho's Thick. Just because I think it's hilarious. but I spare her and I play the remix with Megan Thee Stallion.
What do you mean?
Huh?
What does that even mean? You're trolling your wife with DJ what?
DJ Cho's Thick. It's like it is a hilarious record. Look, I'm telling you. What's up, Bree? What's up, Key? Some love all three. Ashley. Ashley. I get hard when she walk past me. Look at that ass, cause she thick. Thick. She make me stutter. And the friends.
I'm not mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that. That's a good troll. That's a good troll song.
Yeah. Oh, but the remix with Megan Thee Stallion, oh my gosh, she bodies it. Like she actually turns it into like a real song. Like it's like funny, but like Megan actually like raps on that, and she kills it.
Yeah, she's like she fast became one of my favorites because like she just everything. She's ferocious. Like she's a great monster with it, and it's rare, at least to me. Like I think Nicki, and it's such a shame that there's only like all the other consistently good women rappers that I've ever heard are not like being pushed out there like these two. But like, I think that since Nicki Minaj, like Megan has been the most consistent with her albums. Like I even went back and listened to some of her stuff and I was like, damn, this is hot. Like everything is pretty like Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not mad at it.
Absolutely. No, she's killing it. She's killing it. Oh, shout out to my sis Lyric Jones too. She just dropped a record called Closer Than They Appear. And that joint's beautiful, man. It's an incredible album. So yeah, I've been bumping her record too. You know, just listening to the homies.
Shout out about it. Earlier this week, I think, or last week. Yeah, I posted about her album.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna pick it up now. You know? I have two. I wonder, like, my phone has become overrun. Like, you know, I have all the things, and so now I have something like, if I look at my memory, it's like 50% music on my phone.
Yeah.
And it's just getting out of hand, man. It's getting out of hand.
Yeah.
I want just playlists. Like, I think I'm just do playlists forever and ever now.
Yeah.
Like, is that how do you listen to music?
Every Friday, you know, there's new releases and I just scroll through and I just see, you know, if it's a name that I recognize or a cover that I like, or something that looks like it could be a certain genre of music. Oh, this looks like it's electro funk. So I'm going to click it. Does it sound like electro funk? I don't know. But, you know, we're going to go on this journey. And like every week I just do that, just looking for music, whether it be on streaming sites or whether it be playlists, you know, scroll through social media. Yeah, I just dig, you know, it's just like a combination of e-digging and well, it used to be real digging and e-digging. So I do that every Friday and I go to the record store, but now I just kind of like do that.
It's like no record store.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also want to ask, I heard, you know, I've been following your Instagram and I see you've been throwing out some music up there. Like, hey, take a listen to this.
Yeah.
Is it possible we might get like a Radar album?
I don't think so. I don't know, man. It's not looking likely.
We can hope, okay? Like,
Yeah.
he was throwing up some beats. He was like, yeah, I just made, you know, I just put this together today. Yeah,
yeah. That's really all it is. Like, I make it and I'm like, well, I guess I should post it. I should post something or else my page is going to just be barren. So I just make this stuff and throw it up online and be like, y'all like it? If y'all like it, rock to it, you know? And I make it like a clean version so you can hear everything in it. But yeah, it's really just making things and just creating. You know, it's the same thing like we were talking about earlier, where it's like a lot of upfront costs in the hopes of trying to secure enough funds on the back end. And it just doesn't make like financial sense. I don't know, man. If I do something, I'll probably just make something and just give it to my friends, give it to you and just give it to like homies and just be like,
yeah, sure.
I made something here.
Oh my way. Send me songs. Like I don't know. I've been in a really switching between painting and writing. Like, I've just started getting back into writing things.
Yeah.
It feels amazing. And eventually I will stop sitting on this song that I did at the end of that I finally got mixed. So eventually I'll stop sitting on that song and I'll put it out in the world. But like, it's also, you know, saying like, I don't know. Cause I also feel like, well, if I put one song out, then I'm going to have to put another song out. Then I'm going to have to make an album. Like, I'm going to have to keep putting more out. Yeah. And I kind of like this. I like this. If there's a thing to me, like, before I can put something in the world, I have to be okay letting it go. Like, there's something about, like, I just want to keep it here with me a little longer before the world, you know, picks it apart and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel, you know, social media is a crazy place. And things easily get, you know, there's a lot of people trolling these days, unnecessarily. So that's also another part of it. I'm like, you know, I'll do it eventually.
I mean, you know, there's this whole like idea that because we make the record, we have to like promote it and put it out and do all these things. But sometimes you can just make a record just because you want to make a record. Yeah. And like, it can be the thing. Like, there's songs that I've written about my wife that are just for her. You know, and there's times where I was like, should I put this out? And I feel like just like giving it to her because it's like a love song about her. It's just like, here's my thing. And, you know, something about it is special because it's just for us. It's just hers.
Yeah.
You know,
I like that stuff. It's also like, when's the world going to get back to normal? So I don't think the world will ever be normal again.
Yeah.
You know? So there's that other part of it of like, well, how far can this record really go, or how far can certain things actually go if we're still kind of in this in between space of like waiting and be separate and having to stay where we are. I mean, we don't really have to stay where we are, but you know, I prefer to stay where I am. Like I don't know how germs work. I just know I don't like them. So
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because you know you want to put records out, you want to make stuff, but you can't tour it. And
right.
so, you know, my sis Jones, she's going through this where she dropped her record, and you know people are loving it, you know, and she's getting on these year-end best lists, and she's getting exposure, you know, in publications that had never covered her before. And the one downside is like I can't perform for these folks. I can't go on tour. I can't, you know, meet them in person. And you know, she loves like what she's the feedback that she's getting and people loving the record, but it's just tough because it's like, damn, I wish I could come to your city now, but you know, we just can't.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just the nature of the art. Like we for the musicians that put records out during this time, I totally get it, because you still got to be creative. You still want to connect with the people who follow you, and maybe they need you. You know, there's a whole other level of that where it's like, maybe the song that I'm writing is going to help somebody. So I'm just going to put it out there, and hopefully someone who's going through it will listen to it today and feel a little bit better about having quarantine or do whatever. So, you know, we still got to be on the front lines in our ways in the arts community, and, you know, make our things, even if it may not pay off, you know, because we can't tour it or do some other things.
Yeah. I also kind of like this. I like this period of time too, though, because it, you know, when you take away the pressure of like the machine that you have to be, right? Because that's the other aspect of the veins of where I see artists, just being an artist has gone to, where like you have to become this whole machine, right? Like, well, I gotta spend time, I gotta put the ads out, and I gotta post on Instagram, and I gotta do all these things. Like, when do I get time to just be the artist? And I feel like right now is a great time that we're all being allowed to like be able to just be artists. Like that's I don't want to have to so I don't have to. I'm just gonna make what I make, and if I put it out. But I don't have to then become my publicist and my A&R guy and call venues to try to get shows, bookings, and I don't have to do any of that. I just put it in, call it a day. And I think that's a beautiful, you know, that's a beautiful thing too.
Absolutely.
Now, question: what do you think, or in your journey on what is maybe the best experience that music has created for you, or like given to you, Ben? Don't say sentimental stuff like my wife. Don't do that. Because obviously.
Best experience that music has given me. That was the question?
Yeah.
Trying to like get
something along those lines. Like the best, the best experience it's given.
Yeah, I mean, the best is I mean, it's still sentimental. It's my students, you know, seeing them take the lessons and go off and make their own art and start their careers, and, you know, become full fleshed out artists that, you know, become less self-conscious, or maybe not less self-conscious, or just more brave. Yeah, maybe that. just more brave, because we all have a certain level of self-consciousness that we go through, and, you know, because we care so much. But yeah, just to see them step out and try things and start their careers and go into these different directions, and to hear their music, you know, how it grows from them being students, you know, and making this music while they have all these classes to study and homework to do, and then they graduate and they have all this free time, and just to see them like fully blossom because they have the space to be creative, you know, and on their own time. That's been the best. Yeah.
Did you always want to be a teacher? Like, did you like know you were gonna do that, or is it just something kind of, you know, serendipitous?
Yeah, no, I didn't know. I was called by Berkeley to come back and teach the classes.
Wow.
One of my mentors, his name is Steven Weber. He's the executive director of the Valencia campus, helped it get up and running, and now he's in NYC putting the NYC campus together. At the time, he was teaching in the music production and engineering department, and you know, at that time there were like a literal handful of MCs on campus, and for the final project, at the time, I don't know what it is now, but back in the early 2000s, the final project was you had to produce this whole EP with an artist, and you had to produce it and mix it and, you know, submit this project. And so I was doing a lot of EPs for students because they wanted to do hip hop. And he heard me on a few things. We started a conversation. Then he created the turntable technique course. I was one of the first students in there. And we just built a rapport and a friendship. And maybe a couple of years after I graduated, he called me up. He's like, "Hey, man, what do you think about coming back and teaching?" And I was like, you know, I was in New York at the time, or I was in LA. And I was like, you know, I'm over here. He's like, well, you know, think about it. And so I ended up moving back to New York, and he was like, yeah, I'll set up a meeting with Ron Savage, who was the head of the ensemble department at the time. Now he's the dean. And the meeting was all of 10 minutes. And he's like, so you want to teach, you know, students how to, you know, do hip hop ensemble? He had known me because I was one of the only MCs on campus. So I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, so you want to, you know, teach students how to DJ? I was like, yeah, sure. Create some courses. All right. And, you know, I got the call a few weeks later and I was hired. And I initially thought, cool, something else to do when I'm not gigging. You know, this will be great. And I go back and forth between New York and Boston, but meeting the students, you know, listening to them, hearing their ideas, helping them with their ideas and seeing the results of it. Like, I couldn't help but just like, you know, fall in love with that collegiate experience from the other side of it, you know, now being a teacher. And there was an extra thing to it because I had walked through those same walls, you know, doors that they had as a student. And now I'm this, you know, pro musician in a city, in a top tier market. So I had these experiences that I was going through literally at the same time, because I started teaching in my late 20s. You know, I was only a couple years removed from the college. So like all the things that we were doing in New York with Revive, all the ups and downs, well, maybe not all, because, you know, I was protecting people's privacy contractually, but, you know, I consider a chunk of ups and downs that I went through. I was able to go into class the next week and be like, all right, so here's what went wrong and here's what went right. You know, you want to go for this, you want to avoid this. And, you know, they were getting up to date, real time, you know, feedback from someone who had just been on the gig. And, to see them take that and then turn it into their own thing and turn it into their own careers, you know, it made me love the job even more. So yeah, I didn't initially want to do it, but I got into it, and yeah. And then when I became full-time and, you know, got health benefits and, you know, retirement package, I was like, oh, okay, this is
it hits different.
all right, got a dental plan.
I'll tell you that that's the only thing I miss about work right now is my health benefits. Like I miss my health benefits so much because I didn't realize like exactly how extensive they were until I didn't have them. And I was just like, oh, like I better not get sick.
Yeah.
Like this is my healthcare right here, water. Like I'm serious. Like this city is it's really interesting to see, like just to see how everything is being handled and like the way that we've kind of had to, a lot of people have made it back to like this traditional you know, apothecaries and home remedies and stuff because of the state of healthcare right now, which is like all over the place for so many different people. And then I found out I can't even apply. Apparently somebody a couple years back, somebody stole my identity a couple years back. And the way that reverberated to today is that I found out this year that I can't actually apply for, like, you know how we have the health marketplace. New York has like a health, you go onto this website and they give you health coverage or whatever. I can't apply for that apparently because like whoever stole my identity used my social security number to get health benefits.
Wow.
Like there's somebody.
Wow. Jeez. Wow.
You know, but it's all right. I mean, I never thought about it because I always had a full-time job. And, you know, especially once I got on salary and salary and benefits, I was like, oh, I never thought about it until this year when I had to do it. I was like, damn, yeah, it's worse than I thought. Jeez. So, you know, fun times.
Yeah.
Are you still rapping today? Are you still rapping?
Yeah, I'm still rapping. I'm still writing. Like, you know, the artist in me is still going to make it. You know, it's just the whole thing after you record it and mix it and all that kind of stuff. Because I can write, I can make my beats, I can mix things, you know, all that kind of stuff. But it's just everything else after. Like, do I really want to go through this uphill kind of thing and just kind of go through, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I just don't know if I do. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying it's highly unlikely. And but yeah, I'm still writing though, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there, mostly hooks, you know, a couple lines here and there. I don't think I've written like a full verse for most of this year, most of this past 12 months. But I've been happy with that because, you know, I've just been doing other things. I've been creating, I've been making beats, I've been spending more time DJing, and you know, you got this artistic energy, and it's never always one thing. You know, you're painting, you're writing, you're making music, you know, you're doing that too. You know, we just kind of
depends on the day. It's like I wake up and I'll feel in a mood, and I notice like, especially like if I'm all in my feelings, you know, if I'm really in my feelings and I can't speak, I'll paint. Like that's really what pushes me deeper. There was like at the beginning of this pandemic, I was like in bed for like a good week and a half. Like I just did not get out of bed. You know, I'd barely shower, and then like I just didn't come out my room. Like I made it out the bed, and then I would just shower and go back to my room, and then it just became, I don't have anything to say. I don't know what to say. And so it's like, okay, I'll paint some more. I'll just keep painting. And then like now my words are starting to return to me. So that's nice. It's nice, but I feel like once I feel it being something I'm forcing, I stop myself.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the worst thing that we could do is like force, you know, there's so many people out right now talking about if 2020 didn't bring hustle out of you, it's not in you. Like, wow, sometimes hustle is hard and people are tired. I don't want to hustle no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with just like not pushing so hard to be on that hamster? I feel like it's a hamster wheel, really.
Yeah. I almost killed myself off of the hustle, so I feel you. It's a lot, man.
What do you hope for the future? I mean, just music wise, I guess. Yeah, music wise.
Music wise, that's a really good question. I don't know. That I just hope that people are happy making the records that they make. You know, like I hope my friends who are artists just find like their bases, and or if they have their bases get bigger. That's really it. Like, you know, I want all my artist friends to be happy and to be able to support themselves off of this. And, you know, that's really it. Yeah.
Nice.
There's nothing like extreme about it. I mean, for me personally, I just want to, you know, go back to digging again, you know, go to some other countries some more and dig some more. You know, when that's allowed. And
because I looked into it, we Americans can't go to any countries.
Yeah, we can't go anywhere yet.
I'm so jealous of Cali right now, looking at her freaking Mexico.
Oh yeah.
You had the right idea. Oh man, what has been your favorite place that music has, like you've gone through music? Like you just mentioned going to different countries. I'm a fan of traveling.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite place to visit?
Probably Brazil.
Brazil?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Every time I go to Brazil, like I drop a lot of money on records. Like this last time last time I was in Brazil was October 2019. So a few months before this pandemic thing jumped off, and I was out there with Terry Lynn Carrington. Shout out Terry Lynn Carrington. She got that record, The Waiting Game. She's up for a Grammy this year. So we're really hyped about that. And but yeah, we were out there for like a week doing some shows, doing some festivals. And like when we weren't doing that or rehearsing, I was out in record stores just getting my fingers dusty and just finding records. So Brazil is a favorite place. What's another favorite spot? I like digging in the UK. That was really fun. France. China was fun. That was a really interesting dig. That was like, I found like this Paul Marriott record, which I didn't even know was like 200 something bucks, but I found it for like $10 American out there. It was so crazy. It was like such a come up. I was so hyped. Yeah, it's a weird looking record too. It's like this cat, he's got like his conducting baton and stuff. And there's like this old 50s, 60s looking UFO in the background. And it's like him like in the stars, like conducting in space. It's so weird. It's called Pulstar, Pulstar. But yeah, digging over there was fun. But yeah, the place I haven't dug yet that I want to go is Japan. That's like a digging mecca. So I'm hoping when this is all said and done, hopefully it's all said and done at some point, that I can go out to Japan
Right?
and just
I'm hearing about new like they're talking about new strains, and
yeah.
people that got the vaccine have been infected by the new strains, and I'm like, yeah, I'm never leaving my house again.
Yeah. The plan was to go to Japan this past October. Like I had the money, we were getting ready, it was gonna be great. And then just all this happened. So, you know, I just gotta hold off again for another year or two.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be too many more years of this. Like I
Yeah.
feel, you know, we're in the it's weird. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I don't know.
No, it's
I don't
very weird. Like, you know, just trying to like maintain some sort of normalcy it's a lot. You know, I was talking to the missus the other day and it's just like she was like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not okay." You know, but we still gotta like, you know, come together and make sure this kid is all right. So
honestly, like a lot of us are still trying to be like, yeah, I'm great. Like, no, you're not.
yeah, no, not great.
Like, there's no way you're great. You
Uh,
know, and like I feel I've had this mantra since March, and this is what's gotten me through. It's just kindness and patience
mm,
yourself and with everybody else. You know what I mean? Because it's like you can't no one on this earth, except for like maybe 10 people that were alive 100 years ago,
yeah.
can tell me how to live in a pandemic. Like, what is the
Mm,
right move right now? You know what I'm saying? Nobody
yeah,
alive has ever experienced this. And for anybody to assume that there's one way to deal with the pandemic, I'm like,
yeah,
it's not. We're
it isn't.
this really shows you. I think this is also a time that really allows us to see who we are, like
Mhm,
who we really are, and have to be okay with it. You know, like
yeah,
it's okay to say you're not okay today, or it's okay to be like, nah. Like your mental health actually depends on that type of radical honesty for you
yeah,
to actually be healthy. You know, not lying to yourself. So that's my that's been my thing this year. Like, you're not lying to yourself. Like, I cannot lie to
yeah,
yourself. You know what I mean? And it's been working. I mean, I'm still here. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
how many how many
Exactly.
how many records would you estimate you have? Like ballpark it.
I don't know. I don't, you know, compared to like a lot of cats, I don't have a lot. Like I've seen like crate diggers on YouTube and like they go to DJ Scratch's place and Cut Chemist and Newmark and all that kind of stuff. And those cats have like garages full of records and they got like, you know, full studios where it's just wall to wall vinyl all over the place. And I really don't. Like I got, I don't know, maybe 1,000 or so here.
Maybe 1,000. Like that's not that much. Like,
Yeah, and then I got some more at my mother-in-law's and then some more at my parents' house. So
wow.
like I know like there was a period that in the last year when I was commuting back and forth and my record bag holds 50 and I was making like a trip every week just stuffing it full of records just to make space in our apartment.
Wow.
So there was like a good like maybe 2 months where I just was every week I was just bringing 50 records up to my mother-in-law's. So yeah, maybe that was like 400 records that I just moved to Boston.
That's crazy, you know? Like, it's
Yeah.
not though. I mean, I would have it's not. Cause like really when you think about it, that sounds logical. That sounds completely logical, you
Yeah.
know. But um I'm trying to imagine how much space 1,000 records, like how many crates that might be. I feel like maybe 20 crates, 30 crates,
I don't know.
1,000 records.
1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8,
Oh, I have
about
no
20. Maybe
about 20.
about 20. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I'm like kind of eyeball like my big joint. It doesn't have like a divider or anything like that, but I'm trying to like eyeball and split the difference on it. So
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
Oh man.
Oh, but then I have the 45 boxes. I forgot about those.
You have the 45.
All right, maybe more than 1,000.
Do you have like a phonograph? Not a phonograph. The to play the 45s, or can you? Because I don't know
Yeah.
how turntables work either. Like, at
Yeah.
all.
So I have the ones I DJ with now, they're not even for vinyl. They're the Rain 12s. And I got these because, you know, I'm DJing a lot in Serato And when I guesstimated like how much it would cost to replace the needles over the next 4 years, it just seemed simpler for me or cheaper for me to get these. But I still have a turntable that I use to sample with. And it also acts as like my third turntable should Serato like crash on me or something like that. I always like to have a vinyl parachute. So I'll hook that up when I do my mixes and like have that as an option. So I got that one. I have a portable turntable over there next to my desk. Then my wife has a turntable over by the bookshelf. And then there's another one in our bedroom.
What?
And I have another one in Boston at my mother-in-law's.
Damn.
That's another portable one. So yeah, I got some record players strewn about.
Listen.
I can get to a record if I need to. I can play it and listen and find things.
What is like one record you could never live without?
Oh man.
Like you had to pick. I know this is like the hardest question for anybody.
Yeah.
Especially for a DJ, like really? One who listens to one record. Like that you would just never, is there like one record that you will never get tired of? And like if that was the only record, I mean, this is a very impossible situation too.
Yeah, I feel you. Like a desert island pick.
Yeah, like a desert island pick.
One
record on this island.
All right. I damn, this is hard to just pick one. Maybe Marcos Valle Estrelar, Brazilian producer songwriter, had this song called Estrelar in 1983. It's like that beautiful time period. It's one of my most favorite time periods in music. It's like after disco, but pre drum machine taking over. Yeah. And so it's like this post disco boogie, because it's like everyone's like, all right, we still want to dance to up tempo stuff. It's just, Four on the Floor is dead, But yeah, he put out this record in 1983, and it's just so funky. You may know it from like the Southern Comfort commercial with this guy dancing. It's like yeah. So that's Estelar.
Okay.
And I love the vinyl that I have because I've been looking for it. Every time I'd go to a record store in America, like I'd look for that record and I'd never find it. And I go to Brazil and the first record store I go to, they have it. And so, yeah, so it was like, finally, I had to go to the country where it was made to get that record, and so like
that, man, like
it was like that. And I just like, when the record store owner, cause he like saw what I was picking out. He's like, oh, I think you might like this. And he showed it to me. I was like, oh,
yeah, that's for my whole life.
So the first time I went there, I got I got the album, but then the second time I went to Brazil, I got the song on 45. So I have the single and the album version. So that would probably be like my lead one that sticks to the front of my mind. I mean, but it's tough because like, all right, I have a test pressing of like Busta Rhymes, Janet Jackson, What's It Gonna Be? So I'd want to save that. I have a test pressing at AZ Sugar Hill. I got some Slum Village test pressings. And it's trying to, now I'm thinking about it. I got a DJ Spinna remix, like there was only 100 copies made where he remixed some of King's stuff. So like, Red Eye and all that. And like King, they're my homies, like Paris Strother, who writes, a lot of the instrumental stuff, all the instrumental stuff with her sister Amber, who writes a lot of the lyric stuff, and they like trade off responsibilities. But yeah, she's a very close friend of mine. And so I definitely want to save that too, as well as their records that they signed for me. This is tough. It's really tough. Like I got autographed copies of stuff that, George Duke and all that, and Gary Bartz, and that was a gift.
Have you ever thought about digitizing your records now?
Oh yeah. I've been doing that for the last few years.
Wow.
And just kind of,
how's that going?
It's going this past week. I finally dug in and started listening to the stuff that I wanted to sample and want to put in the DJ pile. So in the last week, it's finally like cracking through. I've gotten to letter C, and that's just after listening like nonstop all day, just like putting in like 50-hour work weeks.
Nice. I mean, you'd be done by the end of the year.
Yeah. And I got to keep digitizing. So then there's more. And then,
yeah, because I would imagine you need like at least a terabyte. Just for the music. That's
easy.
I don't know how much space that would take up, but 1,000 records. Yeah,
that's a lot. I don't know. Some of the stuff though I wouldn't digitize because there's like some records that I bought just for like one sound. Like there's a hand clap at the end of like one, like song 4 on side A, and I was like, I need that hand clap. Like so, I bought the whole record just to get that one sound.
One sound.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's a method to it, I guess. Like I, again, don't produce anything. Well, I produce this show, but I don't produce music. So like, but I get that, like the obsession with a certain sound, or like, I was doing some vocals on something and I was just like, no, I got to do that again. Like I'll do it 1,000 times if I hear it, just to get it exactly how I want it. So like, I get that, sound is very sensitive, and
absolutely,
the wrong sound can make or break a record. Definitely. Oh, I got a good question.
All right, hit me.
All right. What is one album you think should have never been made?
Oh man, you're getting killed out here, Joy.
Because you know what I mean? It's like just knowing how you think about music.
Yeah.
Like gotta be stuff that you're like, I don't even know why they wasted the vinyl on this. Like I don't know.
Oh man, an album that should have never been made,
or a record. We could just like, it could be an album or a record.
Oh man, damn, that's really tough. Yo, I gotta like look at some of my heroes and think about like what was that album that they put out that I was just like, yeah, this is really tough. Yo, you asked some really good questions. Because I'm really thinking like, what's an album or a song that like I'm like, nah, this is throw it in the trash, B. This is not it. All right, yo, Outkast, Mamacita.
Oh,
and that's no diss to Big and Dre. They're legends. They're incredible. But I just feel like that's a sore thumb sticking out on an otherwise amazing album. Like I cannot listen to that song. It's just, and it's mainly because of the hook. Mamacita, Papadana. I'm like, I skip that every damn time.
Why did
I just can't do it.
Like, nah, don't.
I cannot do it.
Oh man. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Big and Dre. I'm sorry.
I don't think they'll be mad at you. If they happen to see this though, holla at your girl. Like, I'm for everything. Like,
yeah, hit up Joy. She asks the questions that make you think. It's great.
Questions. Nah, it's just it always makes me think, because like people will always talk about, we talk about an artist can easily like gain value or lose value with the wrong thing. And especially when you look at like and then people will often also like look at the overall career of an artist and be like, yeah, they're great. Like, nah, but that other, like that record though, or this thing's like, not feeling that. Like, and people don't always want to say that part, that like, nah, I just didn't like that. I don't think
the thing about that song is it's probably maybe the only Outkast song that I just can't listen to. Like there are songs that I may be in the mood for, may not be in the mood for, but out of like however many albums that they've done, one song.
Right.
What a career.
Like it's a blemish on the whole career. Just like trash that song, guys. Well,
you're allowed one or two. Like, and they have like one, literally one for me that I'm just like, you know what? I don't think that song is good in any setting for me. But like every other song that they've put out, I'm just like, maybe that today isn't the day. Some days, like there's been songs that I didn't like from them, in their career when it came out that I came back 2 years later. It's like, why was I fronting on this? This is incredible. Yeah.
Sometimes it just takes like, I feel like things take time. Sometimes you have to build up like a palette for it, or like you have to hear other things to hear this thing right, or like I don't know. It's kind of the same way I look at like I'll look at paintings and I'll have a painting that I'm like, okay, I'll think it's done, and then I'll put it to the side, and then maybe a year later I'll come back to it and be like, no, that's not it, and I'll just like do something else to it, and then like, oh, that really is it, and that's its final form. But like, I don't yeah, that was the end of that sentence. I've been trying to have like complex thoughts, and they just don't always like come out clearly.
No, it makes sense though.
Yeah, it's just like,
Because we're both artists. So like, you're talking about, having these pieces that aren't finished and just kind of like coming back to them later. And I can relate because, same way you're making a song.
Yeah, my food is like that with me too. There's a lot of things that like I either had like a complex around them as a kid, or like I would look at it like, oh, that's disgusting. That doesn't smell right. I don't like the way it looks. I won't eat that. And then like years later, I'll have it and somebody will make it. Like I used to hate sweet potato pie. And you couldn't get me to like it at all. I still don't like pumpkin anything. No. Okay. So I went to Melba's. This was years ago. I went to Melba's about 10 years back with my mom and my aunts, and they ordered sweet potato pie for the table. And I was like, I don't like sweet potato pie. She's like, go just eat this. And it was like the most delicious pie I've ever had in my whole life. And so then I became obsessed with like making sweet potato pie. Now I love it. Now I I make it not all the time. I make it for holidays only because nobody wants to spend 3 hours making a pie.
No, I feel you.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I know. Oh shoot, 111. Hey, so I'm out of questions right now. Like I got nothing else right now. Yeah, here. I'm gonna wrap this up because you're a busy man. I can't take up all your time, but as we come to an end, what is some advice that you would give to artists, young artists, especially younger artists coming up now who like, this whole thing has just affected, or what would some of your advice be to like the younger generation DJs? I guess I'm asking what do you tell your students right now?
Oh yeah. A lot of things in terms of like, you got to think about and lead with the passion and let that drive the other things, because all the other things are going to try to knock the passion off course. And, if you chase the passion, then all the other things will come with that. And you just got to keep the center of your why and know that why is going to change over time. The why that you have at 18 at 20 to 21 isn't going to be the why that you have in your 30s. It's not going to be the why in your 40s. And just be open to that change, because a lot of people burn out because they try to operate from the same why that they did 10 years ago, and their lives have changed and it's just not the same anymore. So be open to pivoting your why, and be honest about what that new why is, and exploring that. And it's okay to be afraid about that, because being afraid means you care.
Nice. Thank you so much for talking to me today, chatting it up. I had a wonderful time talking with you. You're always welcome to come back anytime, because this is like a running basis of this project is to one day build it into a living historical archive of Black life. Oh, wow. Really, because like stories are really important to me. Yeah. And especially this year, like I thought it was, I thought it was hilarious that, the government wanted to make Juneteenth a federal holiday, and just like as if that was like the end of it. And I was like, wait a minute, y'all even know why Juneteenth is a fucking thing for Black people? Like y'all don't even know why. And it's like as I would talk about it more and more with people, and like I was just like, you know what, the next 2 years, I'm telling everybody happy Juneteenth for the next 2 years. And I'm going to I like really just became obsessed with collecting stories of people while they exist. You know what I mean? Because there's something about the erasure of a person's history and existence that like, I'm kind of sensitive. It's like, so I want to collect as many people's lives. And then eventually when somebody gives me some funding and speak that into existence, I can build it up like in I want to eventually have something like the ancestry in there, where you can just like put your DNA in, or you can research your own relatives, you know what I'm saying? Like later on, and you can know about other people that exist now, because some of the most extraordinary stuff happens to regular people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's just important that we like archive that, like we record that as much as possible, especially with all these tools at our disposal. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
And I miss people. I miss your dance parties. Yo, can I say those dance parties that you and Callie used to throw were some of my favorite things to go to. Y'all had one where it was like an Outcast. It was like an all Outcast party. Man.
Yeah, Dungeon Family. We did it all. We did like Outcast, Janelle Monáe, CeeLo, Goody Mob, all that stuff. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Shout out Callie Green. That's the homie, man.
Word.
Yeah,
Word.
it was such a fun time.
Man, I can't wait till outside opens back up again. So where can people find you? Do you want people to follow you? Do you want to be left?
Yeah, no. I don't think I'm a grumpy old man yet. You know?
Get off my dreams.
No, they can find me Radar Ellis, RaydarEllis on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook. Probably coming to TikTok. Gonna throw my beats on there soon. See how that goes. Yeah.
TikTok is like I don't. It's too much. It's like I just see all of the every time there's a new stream, it's like people's attention span gets shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter, and it's like government's being run by Twitter now or something. It's like I know what I want to ask you before you leave. Where did Radar come from?
Oh, that came from my homie back in middle school, and we get into conversations, and he'd be like, man, you know, we get into conversations about the most random things, and then I go look it up. And, you know, because I was a kid, I spent a lot of time in the library. I'd ride my bike to the library and just like kick it there all day. And when I got into music, like they had a whole cassette section. So I check out cassettes from the library, and that's how I got like deeper into a lot of music. But yeah, because of that, you know, because of researching, he'd be like, yo, man, you're always looking out. You're like a radar. Like I come back with like, yo, I found this out about this. And And yeah, he was just like, I'm just going to call you. And he's like, and I'm going to be Sonar. I was like, why?
Nice.
He's like, because it's dope. I was like, all right. Shout out my bro Sonar. He doesn't rap anymore, but we're still in contact.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, that's how I'm Radar.
Well, thank you again so much for coming on today and talking with us. Come back anytime. Yo, it's a pleasure and an honor to talk, like have you here, be able to talk with you and pick your brain a little bit and like learn more about you. You know what I mean? Because I was always, you know, you always see people in passing and we forget that like those like events does not, you know, really, it's not the type of connection you think it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like following people on social media, it gives other perspectives. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. I appreciate you having me here. I don't even know if you remember like that pep talk that you gave me at Arlene's.
What?
Do you remember that? So I was going through like the craziest shit. It was like 2 years ago. And like, it was like I was, you know, the hustle kind of grind or whatever. And I was like running around. I think this was like a summer where Rabbi was doing a bunch and I was like filling in for a while. And like, it was when the lesson was still rocking and GK was all on stage and stuff. And like, while they were performing, like you pulled me to the side and you gave me like this incredible pep talk. You're like, Radar, you got to stay focused, man, because people need you out here. You're doing this stuff with these kids, and I see you. Just don't let your light diminish. And And I was just like, holy shit. Okay. Just like in the back of my mind, like I'd wake up like a number of days and I'd be like, I can't let Joy down. Like I gotta this shit.
I mean, I'm so proud of you. You know what I mean? And I meant it. I might not remember it now, but I do remember many times. Like I am known to do that. Like I am known to like pull people and like just remind you of your light, because like we don't ever realize the impact we have on other people. And sometimes, you know, I think maybe that day you probably just showed that you were like, you know, working yourself so hard. And like I can't remember why I thought that it was necessary, but I'm glad that it was necessary and it did benefit you. And that I'm like, oh man, you just made my heart warm. Like,
no, it's real shit, man. That helped me. You put a fire in me, you know, and I was just like, all right, I gotta handle this. Cause Joy, you know, she told me this shit and I don't want to let her down.
Like, and it's real, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And I'm sure like now you can look, you're looking back, especially as a professor now, like you can see your impact a little bit more clearly. But like we saw it then, you know what I'm saying? You affect everybody around you. And like I think that you should not stop. You know what I'm saying? Like you are a really amazing person and you have always just uplifted others. So I mean, I'm glad that I could do that for you, that I did that for you.
Yeah.
Like,
I
hey.
appreciate that. That
Oh
was some real
wow.
shit. Like you had both hands on my shoulders and you were like, listen to me, Radar. I was like, all right, I'm listening. Like hit me. And you just laid it all out like in a matter of 10 minutes.
Nice.
You gave me like the dieselest hug and you're like, I'll check you later. All right, Pete. I had no clue where you went. You were about to dip and you were just like, hold on.
Oh, I probably ghosted. Yeah, I'm famous for that. Like I'll just like be out. Like I don't want to do any of the other things. So I'm just like, I gotta go now. I live in uptown. Like I gotta work tomorrow. Like, yeah, I'm famous for just slipping out.
I still got one of your paintings.
You still have that painting?
Yeah, I still got the painting. The one that I bought from you outside of Brooklyn Bowl. I still have it. Yeah. It's green and it's black and it's somewhere around here. I think it's either in Ellington's room or it's over on this bookshelf.
Oh,
but yeah.
I'm with the baby. I love it. Love it. I love it. All right. I'm going to let you get out of here because I got to go for my kids as it is. With fire. Like, and y'all can't eat waffles all day. Like, this is not.
That's real. Yeah. Get a veggie in there.
I'm thinking about letting me waffles all day. Like, why not? Why not? Who's gonna check me right now? Anyway, thank you so much. Like, this has been truly one of my favorite interviews so far. So I'm like so excited.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah, I hope to talk to you again in the future. Please take care. Keep being a fabulous human being. And thank you again. Like I can't stop saying thank you. I can talk to you.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Take care.
You too. Peace.
I'm so happy. That was great. Thank you again to Radar for coming through and blessing us with like just letting us pick his brain. And I hope y'all got as much out of that conversation as I did. Like, follow him online, Radar Ellis. And in a moment, I will share today's meditation because I forgot to give y'all the meditation for the 31st. And I feel really bad about that. So I'm going to make it up today by doing today's meditation today. I'm not going to forget this time. So today's, for January 3rd, it is, today's not the 3rd. Today is the 4th. Ha ha. See where I'm at. Without a calendar, I am so lost. So the quote for the day is, take a day to heal from the lies you've told yourself and the ones that have been told to you. And that's by Maya Angelou. So there comes a time when we have to pause and listen to what we're telling ourselves. I'm so stupid. I'm broke. I don't know how. I can't take it anymore. Yet in the midst of our dishonest chatter, we're making great strides, accomplishing many tasks, overcoming seemingly insurmountable odds. We can't see it because we keep lying to ourselves. We lie because we've been lied to. You're no good. You can't do it. You'll never make it. How do you think you're going to do that? We can't think because there are so many lies running loose in our mind. The only way to eradicate a lie is with the truth. So we must not only speak the truth, we must think in truth. The truth is, we start from a place where success is born, in the mind's eye of the Most High. The truth is that no one has ever made a true deal with the master and lost. The truth springs forth from my mind. So that's today's meditation. The truth springs forth from my mind. It's basically this, right? Everything about the life you live, that we live, the world, the way it operates, it all starts in the mind. And whatever you tell yourself is what your truth will be. Lots of people are out here talking about manifesting, and it's real basic. Believe it up here, because literally everything around you comes from where your mind is at. So don't lie to yourself and don't believe the lies of others. If somebody, if you start to believe the worst about yourself because you're believing what other people have said about you, stop talking to those people. Stop listening to those people. Start listening to your own voice. Talk to yourself in the mirror. I talk to myself every single day, whether it's in the mirror or I'm by myself, because I can't let outside voices rule my mind. When I did that, I was horribly depressed, and no one likes being in bed for a week. It's like that really happens, and it's not worth it, right? It's not worth it, the time that you lose because you believe someone outside of yourself about your own abilities. Who can tell you about you? No one can tell you about you. No one can make up your truth for you unless you allow them to have that power over you. So the truth springs forth from my minds. And with that, I just remind you to please keep being kind and patient with yourself and each other, because it is still a pandemic. Wash your hands. I don't know why we still telling people to wash their hands, but hey, wash your hands, guys. Not that hard. Sneeze into your elbows. Wear a mask. It's that simple. It's flu season. So just, stay in the crib. It's nice and warm inside. Also, don't stop being yourself, because everybody else is taken. I'll see you on Wednesday at 7. I'll be talking to my homie. I'm so excited for this one too. Yo, January is a month that is gonna be insane, right? Wednesday, I'm talking to Nicole Goodwin. And if you don't know, she's a powerful Black woman writer. We've been friends for a long time, but also just like kind of fans of each other's work. I definitely nerd out over her work. I'll be talking to Soul Rebel when she comes to visit the Goddess house. So, hey, if you were asking me about the next time we're going to be hosting a tattoo artist, that's this month. That's going to be in 2 weeks. And she will be working at the Brooklyn house 3 days. I believe it's in the calendar. So just go to the website, www.thegodis.art, for more information on that. The Eventbrite, there will be a link on my website so that you can reserve your time, because if you don't have an appointment, you're going to have to wait, and what you can get done is very limited. So keep an eye out for that. It's happening second or third week of January. I believe it's the 13th to the 15th. And yeah, I'm talking, later this month, my homie, not my homie, but my homie, Jay Dawn is gonna be on later this month. And so it's still January's popping. And you know why it's popping? Because it's the last month of episodes. I don't know. Maybe I'll extend it. Maybe I won't. I just need a little bit of a vacation from doing this. And season will start over until we come back in the summer, because I got to make more content for you. I want to get it a little nicer, make it a little bit more well organized for you guys. So how can you help me do that? Right there at the bottom, become a patron. It's only $6 a month or more. I don't know, but if you can contribute anyway, we appreciate it over here. Again, keep being yourself, because everybody else is taken. Let me go feed my kids before they try to kill me. Yeah.